Okay, people, we're back at it again with making pins. Not really, this isn't a pen though, but this one is a seam ripper. So, if you don't know what a seam ripper is, just like pause the video, go Google it real quick. Or just wait until the end of the video. So, like, see what it is. It's just like a little mystery. So, right now I am setting up the way it goes. So, it has a clip. And then it has a little cap that goes onto the clip, and it has the little brass tube, and then that little, I don't know what that piece is called, the one that goes in front of it, but it's like, I don't know, like I guess they call it the tip of it, but inside of there goes a little, I don't know if you can see a little plastic piece, the little white plastic piece on the side. It has threads and it screws in, and then those little 4 rings go onto that little silver piece that's there, as you can see. And the seam ripper is right there. I was trying to get it out, I couldn't get it out, but it's right there. Like, here's a better view of how it looks, and the little red circle so that you don't poke yourself. And you lay that in front of that. So yeah, let's get to building. And here's the top view, and then that's the way it looks. So now I'm gonna start cutting it. That is a turquoise color. So yeah, so I measured the tube, the brass tube, on how long it's going to be, and then I start marking it down and everything. Okay, so as you can see, I leave a little bit of space in the back and then in the front, and then I do that purposely so when I'm drilling, just in case if it breaks or chips a little bit on the back end, I can clean it. So here's me using the drill press and drilling the holes through it. So what I did is I used a regular size drill bit, and then I changed the drill bit out with another size, and then I just went through it a little bit so it can open up the hole a little bit more to the thickness that I needed it to be. And yeah, so now I'm going to sand the brass tube and glue it in. So when sanding the brass tube, it gives it that rough texture for the glue to grab. You don't have to go too crazy, you know, just give it like a little, like to where you scratch it, and then you start gluing it. Okay, so when I glue it, I'll spread glue all over the tube, just like evenly, not too much. And then when I put the tube in, I spin it around so that it evenly coats the whole inside of it, and it has like enough to where it sticks all around and there's not too much on one side. Okay, so letting this glue dry, I wait 5 to 10 minutes. Then I use the pen reamer to clean both sides of what is going to be the seam ripper. And if you're wondering why, I can't even talk. If you're wondering why I use the pen reamer, is so that it takes off the excess that's on there, and also it helps the bushings going smoother. And say if I have a little bit more excess than usual, it helps me get it down to the size that I need it to be. And if I don't use a pen reamer, it will affect the way the bushings enter into it, like it won't sit right, and then that can be a problem. And while I'm making it, it can like crack or something can happen, so it's better to like go step by step instead of just like skimming through them. Okay, so I finished using the reamer on it. As you can see, there's both sides are like kind of like indented in the middle, and that is what I was saying. So once I put on the lathe, I can clean that up and get it to the like right length that it needs to be at. And those are seam ripper bushings. Those are made specifically for seam rippers. So like anytime I buy a seam ripper, I'm gonna make it, I use those bushings specifically. And yeah, so I slide it onto the mandrel and make sure everything's good. So as you can see, one's a little bit thicker than the other because one's like the top side and one's the bottom side. Okay, so now I'm going to be showing you the time lapse. So hit on with the time lapse in 3, 2, 1, and a year later. Ta-da! Okay, so when I was doing this, it broke a few times, and then yeah, that's natural because it always happens. Well, not always, but sometimes it'll happen. It just like unexpectedly happens. So yeah, so there's how it broke. It sometimes like they'll break, and like while you're pushing the tool into it, it'll like grab on, and when it grabs on, it will break it. Like it hooks onto it, I guess, and it just snaps that piece and it messes it up kind of sometimes. And then sometimes it's fixable, and then other times you just gotta like start all over again. And then I started to polish it, and then I was like, you know what, I have to add a little bit more detail into it. So I went back a few times, started cleaning it up a little more, and then yeah. So after finishing with all the different fine to or like rough to fine, or rough to medium to fine micro mesh pads, I started to polish it with the wax. That wax is like a finish, so it gives it a real glossy, soft look. Like it makes it more vibrant. Like I don't know, it gives it that finishing touch. Okay, so here I am setting up the seam ripper, so like the layout of it, and yeah. I know I took my sweet time. I was like, come on now, finish. No, I'm just kidding. So when I was making this, it took less time. It felt like less time because, you know, I'm making a video, but I feel like the process of making a seam ripper, it's a little bit faster because you don't have to go as like far down as like when you do a pen, because the pens are more like detailed and everything. But yeah, unless you're doing like a very detailed seam ripper. But yeah, so I started putting it together. So I grabbed the clamp or the vise, whatever it's called, and I made that back piece. It's like pressure fitted, I guess. I don't know what it's called. So when you squeeze it, it doesn't come out no more unless you have that one tool to take it out. And then I had to put those 4 little rings on there. They're like little rubber latex, I don't know, something like that. So you use those so that it gets a grip on the inside of the tube, like the inside of the brass tube. It's kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, it gets like grip. So when I put it in, it fits tightly, but not too tight. Like it goes in, but I can take it out. I won't struggle like, you know, having to fight it. It's kind of like, it gives it like a little bit of resistance to it. Okay, so now I am going to take this out. So I use a screwdriver to take out that little straw thing. And this is the last part of the assembly of the seam ripper. That little white piece has threads on there, and it goes into that little silver piece. So it's like the tip of it, I guess, something like that. And yeah, so you screw it into you screw it into that piece, and it's literally like, I don't know, it's cool because the way it fits. So it goes in like that, and then you take that piece out that I just put in and you turn it around, so it has like its own built-in cap and everything. So it's pretty cool. So I like the way it came out and everything. It was awesome. Even though it broke, it still looks beautiful, just like me, you know.